Connected to Pilotedge. Okie dokie. Let's get this music turned down on this Thursday evening here on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel. Hope everybody is doing well, and I've had quite the tumultuous evening trying to use a platform of Restream to go out to several different social media platforms for streaming, such as Twitch and YouTube and Facebook Live. Had some difficulties there, so if you guys got any notifications from me several different times, sorry about that. Restream does not have a feature like YouTube where it will stream into the preview window first and then allow you to see how your stream is doing. So what was happening was my broadcasting software, the kilobytes per second, was extremely low, which doesn't have, it's not my internet. It has to probably do with their servers. So I'll figure that piece out. In the meantime, we're going to do this quick stream here on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel, where we are also going to do some American Truck Simulator as well, just to get back in the flow of things there. Today we are going to just go from Gallup, New Mexico on over to Flagstaff, and we're going to be flying this TBM 900. See, I'm updating some information at the top of your screen for your viewing pleasures, and we are on Pilotedge, and again, just trying to get this flight done and get this this is another test to see how well we can transition from live streaming X-Plane on over to American Truck Simulator. So let us see how this all works out for us today. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on the aircraft and see how things are going for us on there. Before we do that, let's go ahead and start this. Well, let's get on board first and then take a look. You can see the aircraft is completely off, cold and dark. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and get this generator all started up. So I'll stop the music now for the time being, and then we can go from there, just because we want to make sure that we don't miss anything. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and put this GPU right here, which you see now is pumping some energy into the aircraft. We can also assume that all of the passengers are getting on board, so we can go ahead and shut those doors over here. So we'll come right here and hold this down until the door actually comes all the way down, and then we must secure it and lock it. So that door is down, and then now we are most certainly going to secure and lock the door and back up to the front. We've got one more door to close as well, and we got to get out of here. It shouldn't be too hot in here, so that door is now secured. Now we can definitely come up top, and then just checking a few things here. Let's make sure that parking brake is on and set, which it's not. So now the parking brake is on and set, and we can come up top now and get some initial power onto the aircraft, and we are going to also turn our battery on just as soon as it allows me to. Here we go. It must be this spot here. Alright, now that ground power unit is bogging down, and we'll keep everything else off here. You can see the aircraft is coming alive. We're going to start getting dinged and beeped here. Alright, first notable bing, Chief Sim Pilot. Yo, 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 how are you doing, my friend? I definitely need to talk to you, Chief Sim. I've had some difficulties with streaming on several different broadcast or platforms, so I'll probably Discord you and ask you about some methods that you used. In the meantime, you guys can see the aircraft alignment is happening here on this TBM 900. So now we're going to go ahead and just get right in here. We're going to put our flight plan in.
Pause system test. Okay.
And you can see here we're at Gallup, New Mexico. Let's also come up top and see if we can get some lighting on here. There we go, because it is extremely dark in the cockpit. That's making a whole lot of big difference there. And now we're just simply going to plug in this flight plan. We're not going to be doing all sharing the, well, we'll see. I don't want to belabor it today. Again, this is just a test to see how well we do with transferring over to our American Truck Simulator. So let's just go ahead and get this flight plan initiated here. So we've already got Gallup in there, so now we can come here and start plugging in our next waypoint, which is a VOR of India November Whiskey. And let's see, INW. I don't know why that's not coming up here. Let's try this again here. Let's go for India. That's why it's starting with an I. Let's see, India. That's right. We want November, and then we want whiskey. And location UK. So that one is not coming in. Let me look at that waypoint identification once again here in my flight plan and see if we can figure out what's going on here. Okay, so it is, yeah, India November Whiskey. Boy, today has just been a day of surprises. There we go. There's Winslow. Let me make sure that that is the actual VOR title. Yes, and it is. So now we can hit enter. So that was just a little bit of a problem right there. You just essentially have to make sure that that fourth character is not showing up, or otherwise it's gonna assume you're trying to type in another character there. Now we can most certainly hit the procedure button here, and let's see, we need to load an airway. So let's go here and hit menu, and we're going to come down here now and load this airway. So we'll hit enter there, and we are going to load the airway of Victor 572. And it is on there. I was expecting it not to be the way this night's been going. But you can't always have them peaches and cream. So we will continue to trudge forward here. Alright, so we're going to load that in there. We have that airway in there, of course. And now we can most certainly come and put our destination of Flagstaff. FLG. And that at least went well for us. Alright. Again, if you're just joining the stream, welcome aboard. We are flying this TBM 900 on over to Flagstaff, and then we'll be switching over to American Truck Simulator and taking a route, which we'll pick at that point. Won't be too long. Again, this is just for testing. Again, I was trying some restream broadcasting on all platforms, but that didn't go so well, so I have some suspicions of what I need to do there. Anyhooser, with that being said, let us come over here and take this off of the flight plan now that we've got that all situated. And let's go. Now we can show a chart here, and let's show, let's see, info, departure. Okay, so there's not much here for any type of charts for this airport because it is a smaller airport, but it does have an arrival, which we're not going to worry about right now. But in the meantime, I do want to get my chart pulled up on my Navigraph so that I can essentially get the frequencies punched in there, and then we can get out of here. And then hopefully within the next few days, I'll get the restream thing figured out and go from there. So there is no air traffic control as far as clearance, so we just now need to go over to our comm radio here now and type in the right one. I'm moving the comm channels right now so that we can log on to 122.2, which that's where we'll get the departure on Pilotedge. Let's just make sure we are on Pilotedge. And let's make sure our flight plan is filed. We're going to be cruising today at 13,000 feet. There is really no way to get a radio check here. Normally I would check the actual ATS to see the radio is coming in, but essentially we'll just try to file our flight plan right now. Once I get my rusty dusty book here, and mysteriously, don't know what happened to my pin, but there we go. Little flustered for the day again. That restream couldn't figure out. And then what I don't like about the restream is that once you try to do a test to see if your stream is going through, it actually starts broadcasting to your channel. So there you go. Clearance delivery, November 350 Kilo Tango here at Gallup is looking for IFR to Flagstaff.
The 350 Kilo Tango Albuquerque Center, good evening, clear to the Flagstaff Airport via the Winslow VOR, then as filed, maintain 14,000. Departure frequency 124.32, squawk 5733, hold for release.
Okay, cleared to Flagstaff via the Winslow VFR or VOR, and then is filed. Climb maintain 14,000. Departure frequency is 124.32, squawking 5733. Hold for release. November 350 Kilo Tango.
0 Kilo Tango, the redact is correct. Just give me a call short of the runway number 1 for departure. I'll have a release for you then. Frequency changes approved.
Okay, roger that. We'll call when we're number 1 in sequence. Frequency change approved. November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we can switch the frequency over to the Unicom frequency. So if we come in here, now we can essentially, the Unicom frequency is close to what our departure frequency is for Albuquerque Center. It is 122.905. And we'll be on that frequency now. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to switch this over, so now we're on that frequency, and then our departure frequency, we'll put that in, which is 124.32. Now, in order for us to get our squawk code here, we must come over here to where it says transponder, and we need to put in the code now, and the code is 5733. 5733. And now that that's put on, we can also, since we're down here, make sure our course direction indicator, our bearing indicator is on the FMS, which it is. And now if you come back over here to transponder, we can just go ahead and put that on altitude reporting so that we don't forget. And you can see that that's on right now. And then we can go ahead and go for a start. Now he did say climb maintain 14,000. He's probably going to give us a lower, because I only filed for 13,000. So we'll figure that piece out. If we want to come up top, we can come here and go ahead and put that altitude in of 14,000 feet. It's changing right here as I move the knob. Now there's 14,000 feet, and then we also want to set up our vertical profile. So we'll start our initial climb at about 2,000 feet per minute. And we are going to get on a heading direct towards Winslow. So if you look at that right now, the heading there appears to be a southwestern heading. So let's go ahead and set that in. Let's take a look at our flight plan and see what that heading even says. Let's see, let's go to view here, and I want to change the legs to cumulative. So cumulatively we only have 148 nautical miles to go. So, and then of course I said that was a southwestern heading, so it is a 245. So let's go ahead and just get that in to our heading so that we can have a good idea and be facing the general direction of where we're flying to. And 245 is all set up now, and that's pretty much in the same direction that we're departing. Now we are going to get the weather, but we're not going to do it using the ATIS. We are going to use it using FlightAware, since there is no radio frequency here that we can program into in order to see that. So we're going to go right over to FlightAware up top on the second screen, and I'll go ahead and double check to see exactly what the weather is doing right now. All right. So currently, in our present situation, our weather is calm, so we are most certainly going to depart on the most appropriate runway, which is runway 24. So we'll just simply turn left where we're at now in a 180 manner and head back to the base of runway 24. Let me just give you guys a quick snapshot. As promised, this is a very small field, not a whole lot here. Here's that Unicom frequency. This right here, ironically, is the Albuquerque departure frequency that he gave us, so that actually even matches up with the 124.32. And the rest is pretty easy here. Obstacle departure procedure. Here's runway 24 with a minimum climb of 370 feet per minute or per nautical mile to 8,000, and then so on and so forth. Runway 6. Let's see. This is the obstacle departure for runway 6. There really is no obstacle departure for runway 24, so that's good. These are just obstacle departure and procedure here. There's no additional notes for our runway, so we should be good to go taking off in that direction. I've never even flown in or taken off from this airport. We just spawned in here simply for these reasons. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get this aircraft all started up before we get too hot in here. So we are most certainly going to turn on our strobe light. We just need to let everyone know that we are getting ready to go active and get out of here. So let's look right, let's look left, and let's go ahead and do this generator start, and then we'll disconnect the ground power. So let me mute that there. And now we can get out of here. So let's go ahead and start this engine. So without further ado, we're going to make sure that is in the down off position. Everything here looks good. So now we can come up here and put our boost pump on. So here's our boost pump. It's going to go to on, and the ignition's all the way up to auto. So essentially now we just need to we can also turn this autopilot features on, so we don't forget that. And we're going to come right on up. Alright, so we're going to monitor everything here. We're going to make sure that turbine gets to at least 21, which it has. So you see some slow rotation. Now we're going to introduce fuel to low idle. Alright, you're going to see that pick up now on that turbine and the prop. Alright, it's giving us an indication that the GPU is connected. That's okay. Alright, starters off. There's a bunch of things off here, which is good. Now we can come up and over. Alright, now you can see that engine coming all the way up. You can see the prop RPMs are leaving the yellow area there. Alright, and that looks good. So without further ado, now we can come and get our generator on. And now we can, well, and the battery was on the GPU. So we need to go one down to where it's on battery, and now we can get rid of that GPU. So we can get rid of that noise, and let's also double check our fuel quantity on board. Altogether, looks like we do have more than enough fuel here, because I did fill the tanks enough for our trip. Now our bleed is off, stall heat, no heat, pitot heat, left and right. Auxiliary boost pump is on, and the auto is selected. So let's come up here now. What it's telling us to do is we need to put our boost pump over there into the auto section here, and let's see, I believe our generator is good to go. Alright, see, we got a little bit of freezing here, so let's come back in here. Track IR is not responding, so hopefully that comes off. I tell you, boy, it's just been a evening full of surprises. But if the track IR doesn't work, that's okay. There's ways around everything in here. As long as our views work, that's all that we need to happen. All right. Wow. Now even this is freezing up, so we can just use our hat here. Like our old times. And I need to actually slide over a little bit. And if that decides to start working, then we will most certainly figure that out. But in the meantime, we are going to get out of here. Okay, so our bleeds are off. So we also, hopefully this thing doesn't come on randomly. So we also need to turn our bleeds on. Bleeds are on. AC is going to come up to auto. And everything else there looks good. Let's also look at that message here. We also have stall, no heat, pitot, heats left and right, and auto selected. So we can still come right here and we could turn our pitos on and our status heat. And we also need to open the inertia separator. Alright, and let's see here. The flow looks good. Fan speed, we'll leave there. Let's see, auto, press mode. Let's put that up. And let's see here. Let's see if that wants us to take that off. Okay, max diff mode. That's not what we want, so we're going to get rid of that. And this auto selection, what is that all about? Let's see. Those are all on. It was the fuel. The fuel has to be put on there, and that's where that happened. Now what we can do is also come over here and make sure all of our checklist items are done, which they have been. Strobes, propeller area, starter switch. So we did the strobes. Throttle's looking good. Slow idle. Check engine parameters. Source selector. Electrical network, throttle's been checked. The aux boost pump is in the auto position, and the fuel selector switches to auto, which we just did. Generator selectors on main. Generator selector standbys check. Generator selectors on main. Autopilot trim switch is up and on. Oxygen supply has already been checked. And our bleeds are on, of course. Our AC switches to auto. Our pressurization mode switch was to auto, which is down here, which you guys also saw that. And let's see, temperature, hot air distributor. Everything here looks good. The all the information for our departures taken off here. The only thing we need to do here is actually get our trims where they need to go. So let's do that now. Okay, so trims are where they need to go. Alright, checklist is complete, and taxi and procedures, taxi light, passenger briefing, park brake, no steering, all on, throttle, flight instruments, all that's going to be checked right now, so let's check that off. And I just like to go over this is before takeoff, which we'll leave right there. And now we can come back over here, of course, with our trusty stuff that's not working anymore. And yeah, let's go ahead and get that taxi light on. Good thing this is a short stream. Alright, main battery, everything is looking good. Let's get our takeoff flaps. And as you see here, here's our takeoff flaps are all good to go. And yeah, let's go ahead and release that parking brake. Let's see here. It's going to be a little different now that I don't have my used to my track IR. Okay, so let's come about right there. Parking brake is released. Can come right over here to this taxiway. Alright, now we have a nice smooth taxi to the runway. And then we are out of here, folks. We are not going to let today's issues stop a wonderful stream, because then we got to get into American Truck Simulator and take us a route. And see how that goes. If that goes well, then I will start a segment where we fly and do our trucking routes. Alright, here's the whole short for runway 24. Alright, parking brake is set. Let's go ahead and get rid of that audible noise there since the parking brake has been set. Alright, flight idle, flaps are done, flight controls. We've already checked those prior to you guys coming on board. Passenger seat belts, table, strobe switch, all that's good. So let's make sure we have all of this on. Let's see, that ELT should be on. We're not getting there. We got our autopilot on, starter, Alright, let's come back over here where we can see that, and let's go over to the first officer's side. Of course, gonna have to configure his area out as well, because this was part of our problem there. Now we can have both of those in the right area. And let's just pause the track hour to make sure nothing is going on there, and then now we can come here. I'm so glad I set up certain settings and put that in. Then we'll also put our departure frequency in of 124.32. It's actually 325, so let's see what we get. There we go. Now we are in there. Albuquerque Center, November 350 Kilo Tango here at Gallup. Number 1 in sequence, ready for departure.
350 Kilo Tango, Albuquerque Center, roger, your release for departure, time 0257, clearance void if not off by 0305. Change to advisory frequency approved, report everyone.
Okay, we are released now, time 0257. We'll advise of our intentions if not off by 0305. And we will be talking to departure in the air for November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we've got that all situated here. So we are on Albuquerque Center already. We'll just simulate on COM 2 that we are making our call out. And let's go ahead and get the rest of our situation taken care of here. So we're going to go full lights on. Now we're going to go put our pulse on. Let's take a look at what we look at outside, of course. In our full profile with all our problems on board today, we are most certainly looking good. And now we can depart up out of here. Alright. Alright, final looks clear as best as we can see without my track IR. Phil Spoil. Alright, let's come over here just really quick and get this off. And let's take this to where we can see what we're doing. And let's go flying. Power is set. Pull it back just a little bit so we don't over torque. Airspeed is definitely alive. Alright, and rotate.
Hello, United 1313, flight level 250.
And off we go.
1313 Albuquerque Center, good evening. Cross
Years coming up.
13,000.
Cross cruiser out, maintain 13,000, United 1313.
Alright, we'll keep the flaps right there. Let's get our yaw damper on, and we can just go ahead and go to autopilot. Go flaps up. And let's double check, make sure that gear handle came up.
Getting slow.
Alright, getting slow. So let's go ahead and pitch down slightly.
346, leaving the Pilotedge coverage area. Radar services terminated. Frequency change approved. Have a good flight.
All right, thank you, man. I'll catch you on another one. See ya.
Take care.
Albuquerque departure, November 350 Kilo Tango, 7,700, climbing 14,000.
November 350 Kilo Tango, Albuquerque Center, IBM.
Alright, so let's come over here and go to ident. And let's go here. Click that ident.
The 350 Kilo Tango radar contact over Gallup. The Gallup altimeter 3007.
3007, over 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we got the altimeter, which we already had in there, is 3007. We are climbing, and let's get some more power in there. Not so much, because we are, for whatever reason, climbing very slowly.
Across Kremling at or above 14,000. Cleared LDA runway 25 approach.
Alright, and now what we can do is start heading on course.
25 approach, citation 204 Lima Echo.
Roger, and if you break out early, just let me know. I'll re-clear you for the visual.
All right, roger that. Citation 4 Lima Echo, thanks.
Alright, we are above 10,000 feet, so we can go ahead and take our landing lights all the way off. Now you can see we're headed to our pre-designated course, which we set up, and let's also bring our climb down slightly. See if we can pick up some speed here. We'll go to about 1,200 feet per minute. And you can see our speed climbing up just a little bit. Once this line starts moving, I'll hit the nav button and it will most certainly navigate on course. So we'll be doing a bit of a slight turn on over to a heading of basically 240. You can see we're getting that audible noise. We're going to keep the inertia separator open for our climb. You can see that line getting really close to where we need to be. So once it pretty much lines up, we're going to hit this thing right into the navigation mode. Alright, which is close enough, so let's go ahead and hit that nav button. So now we're going to go ahead and do our left turn. And now we are officially on course. And rolling. So let us get some more music going on now here on this wonderful troubled stream. Alright, so we are almost to our altitude. So the aircraft is going to pitch down here in a second, and you can see it's flashing in blue, and we're going to pick up speed as well so that we can get on over to Albuquerque, or to Flagstaff. Might help if you know where you're going as a pilot. Alright, so we are cruising right along. And you can see our landing pulsing lights are still on, which we're getting ready to take off. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit those pulse lights off. And let's come over here back to our checklist and just make sure that let's change the range here. Get about a 40 nautical mile or 50 nautical mile range. You can see here over in the first officer's primary flight display that the speed is still climbing, so I'm still monitoring that. And let's go down here. Park brake throttle flaps, de-ice panel, flight controls, trims, seat belts, passenger tables, strobe switch on. We did all that for our before takeoff, so we can literally just click right through this. Fuel gauges and symmetry. Here's the fuel gauges. The symmetry looks pretty good. We've got 750 pounds on the right and 820 pounds on the left. The aircraft will be switching back and forth between the tanks automatically. And our climb out, takeoff distances, rotation, engine instruments, and battery charge are all looking good. So let's check those off. On over to the next checklist, and this is our climb speed recommended 124 knots, which we were doing well under that. And yaw damper is on, so now we can close the actual inertia separator, which we'll see that once we get to climb. ECS panels, temperature selectors, that's adjusting these. The de-ice system, we don't need any of that. On to the next, and here's cruise. And yeah, I'm surprised it doesn't say close the inertial separator, but that's what we're going to do. Pressurization, gauges, cruise parameters, we're going to be all done with that. So then our next one is our descent. And let's see what it said about that inertial separator. If heavy precipitation, turn ignition and inertial separator on, but that's not the case. So now we can come over here and close the inertial separator. So you're going to see this light here in a second extinguish off of our annunciator panel. And there you go, inertial separator is closed. And we are cruising and on course.
Alright, sir, Officer Weber, Farmington Ground Runway 25, taxi by Alpha.
So today's plan is to get to Gallup, or I'm sorry, Flagstaff. Let's pull that power back slightly. That torque is up just high. Get to Flagstaff and get the aircraft all turned down and shut down after watching a replay, and get on over into the garage of Flagstaff and do it that way. And I promise you the next stream will be much smoother, hopefully, but sometimes these things happen, especially when you're doing a live broadcast. So I think with that restream, the best thing to do with that is to like stream in the middle of the night, 3, 4 in the morning, just to check it out to make sure it's working on all platforms. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Because I know some folks, including my wife, were confused about how many times the notification came up that I was streaming live. Alright, so if we want to take a look at the flight plan and see what our cumulative mileage to Flagstaff is, it's only 124 nautical miles. We can also pull up that chart. Speed is doing good right at 218 knots. So if we come over here to show chart, now it's going to show, it's still showing for Gallup, but we can change that to Flagstaff. Alright, so Flagstaff isn't much different than Gallup. Pretty much one strip of runway, and we got a runway basically southwest and a runway that's northeast facing. So this is runway 3 and this is runway 21. The winds stay the same. We'll come right into runway 21. You guys see my mouse watch, it'll go right down. I'm telling you, it is. I am being plagued with issues today, but again, I'm not going to give up. You can see the runway is 6,983 feet, so it's more than enough space for us to land. And let's look and see what approaches we have. So this is an approach for ILS or localizer runway 21 that we will more than likely take. We can also investigate to see what the ATS is. The ATS is looks like it's 125.8. So we'll put that in as well and see if we can get the ATS once we get a little closer. Let's actually put that in the comms too. So what we can do is come right over here, and if you push this, now it switches down here. And what was that frequency, folks? That frequency is 125.8.
Echo Connect Eagle Tower 119.8.
19.8, citation 204, Limac. We do have the airport in sight, and we can take a visual.
Limac, Roger, clear visual approach. Runway 25, Connect Tower.
Clear visual 25, citation for Limac. See it.
All right, so now we have 1258 in there.
For 204 Limac, Eagle Tower, wind calm, runway 25, clear.
Okay, so we turned our COM 2 off over here. Information Tango is current, and we most certainly are anticipating a runway 21, which that'll be good. So the runway 21 localizer information is 110.5, as you can see right there. So let's go ahead and put that in there. 110.5 and the COM 2. Or actually, we can put that right into COM 1. So 110 and then 5. So now that's programmed in, and we don't have anything to worry about there. And we can just cruise along. And once we land here in Flagstaff, we'll jump off of the aircraft, do some replays, and then it's on over to American Truck Simulator, which hopefully that goes well. At that point, I'll have you guys listen to some music, and I'll get the American Truck Simulator turned on and ready to go, and then we'll find us a nice little mission to go deliver some goods. Alright. Again, we are cruising right along. Alright, don't mind me, I'm just checking some messages here. Alright, let's come back over here and get off our charts.
United 1313, contact Phoenix, approach 128.65.
Alright, we got about 102 nautical miles to go, so 85 to our next waypoint of Mazda, which we'll probably get vectors after that. It's the visual anyway. So if you take a look at our entire range, we're about at 150 nautical mile range there. So here we are, and you can see we're going to make a northwestern turn here at Winslow, direct to Mazda, and then there's Flagstaff, but I'm assuming that we are going to get some vectoring.
Altimeter 2997, expect visual approach 26.
We'll keep the range right at about 50.
Descend and maintain 7,000.
Alright, everything is maxed out here, but still in the green, so that's good. So we are cruising as efficiently as we can here on this TBM 900. Let's go in the back, and of course all of these passenger views are going to look funny. Boy, that thing's bouncing around there. Getting some horrible turbulence. I would not want to be on this aircraft at this point, my peeps. Man, I just feel drained a little bit low energy. Hopefully that doesn't affect our landing after battling with the restream and trying to figure all that whole process out. Usually I am
Alpha November, connect Emerson.
successful in figuring those things out, but yet I haven't. I still wanted to do the stream, so I just canceled that, came back on over to YouTube, and just streaming here. But I promise you I will be also streaming on Twitch and Facebook Live when I get a chance. I'll figure it out. Alright. Yeah, we should ask for a change here due to the weather before I do that. Let me make sure my flight plan is all together here in my active sky. Alright.
You done, Billy? Flying out of there again.
So you might see the weather update here in a second. See what it does. And it did absolutely nothing. So that's good that we had the right weather in there. And we are cruising right along. There we go. We can see that torque. There we go. I'll pull the power back just slightly. You want to make sure all of those parameters are adhered to. Otherwise, it's going to be a nasty day for you. So Flagstaff is information Tango. They're landing runway 21, which we assumed, and the altimeter is 3012. So we are not doing bad at all. And I was looking for a good reason to get this aircraft back up and rolling. Let's come back over here and look at some information here. Our ground speed right now is 261 knots over the ground, which probably is about 280 miles per hour. You can see we're tracking a heading of 245 with an estimated time to getting to Winslow in 8 minutes. So that's what that information is telling you up here in the magenta.
350 Kilo Tango, connect Albuquerque Center 128.45.
Albuquerque Center 28.45, number 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so 28.45 is where we're going. So 28, and let's roll with 45 here. Albuquerque Center, number 350 Kilo Tango, checking in at 14,000.
350 Kilo Tango, Albuquerque Center, Flagstaff, altimeter 3012.
3012, number 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so he's just telling us now to alter our barometric pressure to 3012 at Flagstaff, which we know it is with that information Tango. Alright, and man, I thought it was going to be a horrible time here not using my track IR since I had got so spoiled using that. Let's see if that thing is acting right. It's still not acting right, so I'll definitely have to restart that before we go into play American Truck Simulator. So we'll see how that works, folks. And about 79.9 nautical miles to go. And let me check the Pilotedge scope. I always show you guys the scope, so it won't be anything different just because we're flying Pilotedge. Okay, here we are on November 350 Kilo Tango, and we're headed directly to Flagstaff in that western direction. Overall, most of the pilots on Pilotedge are usually in the Los Angeles Center airspace. We got a few aircraft around here. So there you go. And we are cruising right along, as we do in fine fashion. And again, I do not know where we are going just yet with the American Truck Simulator, but we will go somewhere. So in the meantime, let's keep cruising along here, which we have no choice. Nowhere to land, and it's pretty... The scenery over here is pretty bland. I've driven this plenty of times from Gallup to Flagstaff in real life on I-40, and let me tell you, that is one boring drive. The most exciting thing between Albuquerque and Flagstaff, New Mexico is Gallup. And the only reason that's exciting because that's a rest stop and they usually have services and okay restaurants. Flagstaff's kind of the same thing. Flagstaff is up in the mountains, and at Flagstaff you can make a determination to stay on 40 west to continue out to California, or you can take the 17 south and head down to Phoenix. So, been there, done that. But I do like both New Mexico and Arizona, as well as California, obviously, and Nevada. So, even though the scenery here may be boring, it is what it is.
Okay, 1313, turn right heading 170.
All right. What I'm going to do right now, for the time being, I'm just going to square up that heading. Alright, heading is squared up. And we got about 67.7 nautical miles to go, so we are doing very well here in this Pilatus, or not Pilatus, this TBM 900. Again, I've been flustered today. Stream started, originally wanted to start this stream at 6 p.m. I originally wanted to broadcast this on Facebook Live and Twitch.
Airport, 2 o'clock.
But it didn't work out. And basically, the issue is my kilobytes per second on the, I guess, the upload speed from my third-party broadcasting software. But I'm streaming just fine here on YouTube, so it's not the internet, it's not the broadcasting software that I'm using. It actually has to be the servers that it was connecting to, and there's a multi-platform, so I'm sure there's some complexity that comes with that. But I'll figure all that, folks, and before you know it, we will be doing our multi-platform stream. So we will go from there. Maybe I'll watch some YouTube videos as well and make sure I'm not missing anything. Alright, so we're getting pretty close, only 61 nautical miles from the field. Everything here is looking good.
Right spot, 1313, clear visual approach, runway 26.
So when we descend, it doesn't look like we need our initial separator on. Altimeters are set, de-icing is required, which will be none. There's no precipitation. Stow, passengers table stowed, so this is all ready for descent here. Altimeter set, no de-icing necessary. Windshield misting protection system, there's nothing there because there's nothing misting. There's no precipitation at all. It's supposed to select the fuelless tank. Pilot's discretion down to 10,000 over 350 kilotango. We'll go ahead and start that descent now.
At 1313, contact Phoenix Tower 118.7.
Alright, so we can start our descent down to 10,000. We'll descend at about 1,300 feet per minute. And if you look here, I've got that set up here, negative 13. Now the speed's picking up, so we're going to pull back on that power just slightly. So we don't want to go too fast at this point since we're getting close. You can see that altimeter has been put in there. And we actually already have our navigation heading for the runway. Again, it's 110.5, and we can double check that by coming right over here and, and getting off the flight plan and coming right over here to the checklist page. I don't know why I keep going back to the checklist. It's the show chart button. And there's 110.5 with an approach course setting of 214. And yeah, Missed approach, climb to 7,500, then climbing left turn to 11,000 on heading 130 to the Flagstaff, radial 172 to Oates intersection, and DME 16.7. All right. So now we are descending down.
November 90, November request, level 230. 90, Roger, clock maintain for level 230.
All right.
November 90, whatever. Those winds are killing you, aren't they?
Looks like somebody's having an interesting day with some winds.
It is southwest guy going opposite direction. Earlier, you get almost 20 knots over the ground. Yeah, it's insane. It'll be better when you head south again.
All right.
I don't need no one to free me. Don't need permission to be me. Getting in where I fit. On the throne where I sit. Toilet bowl on the shit.
All right. We're gonna go back and just keep a sharp eye. We can go ahead and decrease that range now. Now we are direct Mazda.
I think I found me a new space. Studio spot for the business. Luxury love for the bitches. Crib with the white picket business. In the garage for the business. I park the Lex in front. Ay, pay by the year, not the month. Ay, I go wherever I want. Ay, passport, hella stamps.
All right, coming right up on 10,000 basically, so we'll need to monitor that. So let's also get our landing light on.
I'm about to make it look easy. Free cell.
We'll get our pulse landing light on once we are direct to the runway. All right, I'm just throwing in some more power. As you can see, that torque coming up. Trying to maintain that speed that we got there. All right, folks. Right at 10,000. And we should be able to, well, if I have my track R, we do better. Look at this crater over here. It's like a little depression in the ground here. It looks like something may have hit that to cause that, unless that was a sinkhole. All right. Hope everybody's doing well on this Thursday, anticipating the weekend. It goes so fast. Pandemic seems to be dwindling down slightly. Of course, that's still going to be contingent upon everybody doing their part. Let's go ahead and put this standby altimeter to 3012 as well, and let's go double check the first officer side. All right, 3012 is in there. All right. Got about 20 nautical miles until we get to Mazda. Now, if we go back to the actual
350 Kilo Tango, connect Phoenix approach 133.57.
Phoenix approach 133.57 over 350 Kilo Tango. All right, 133.57 coming up in there. Phoenix approach, November 350 Kilo Tango is at 10,000. We have information Tango at the field.
350 Kilo Tango, Phoenix approach, Flagstaff, altimeter 3012, expect initial approach from 21.
Okay, 3012, expecting visual 21 over 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so let's go ahead and square up our heading just in case he decides to give us vectors. Alright, now what we were going to do is we're going to show the chart so we can see what the touchdown elevation is. And you can see here touchdown elevation, well, you can come up top and read it as well. Touchdown elevation is 7,003 feet. But you can clearly see here, this last point, you got to be above 8,500 feet, which that'll tell you this is pretty low here. So touchdown elevation is 7,000 feet. So essentially at 10, we're only 3 above. So if you were going to say to yourself, oh, we're not descending down any further, it's because we absolutely don't need to. Alright, let's go back, and now that we see this chart, let's go ahead and get right back to our flight plan here. And then once we get to Mazda, we'll be direct to the field, so we'll see what heading he gives us. Alright, we are rolling right along. Alright, give you guys some eye candy there. Alright. Hopefully none of the other systems fail when we're on approach. That way we can get down and take a look at our replay. And the good thing is the direction that we're going to be heading in should pretty much be almost on point with our arrival. Let's look at our flight plan and see what heading it says we're going to have in once we get to Mazda. So we're going to turn to a heading of 238, and it's runway 21. So we're essentially going to be in the general direction of the runway.
Flight present heading Vector Flagstaff Airport.
Flight present heading Vector Flagstaff Airport, number 35, Zero Tango. Alright, so now we're going to switch it over to heading. That's why I squared up that heading bug. So now we're flying present heading, and we can essentially now come here, and we need to change our course bearing director to our VOR1, and now we can put it on a course heading of, wait for it, you guys are going to check it with me. The course heading is 214. So we'll come back over here now that we know that we need to put 214 in here, and we can come up top now and use this course one here and put in 214. Alright, now we have that approach course in there. Now you can see we're off the line, but that's because he's going to vector us. So we're basically on a heading right now of 284, as you can see here. We've got our VOR1, which is basically going to be our nav1 programmed in there. He's going to be turning us soon, because if we get in a fight with this mountain, we are most certainly going to lose. For sure. Alright, if he doesn't give us...
350 Kilo Tango, turn left heading 220.
Left 220, November 350 Kilo Tango. I was getting ready to say, if he didn't call us, we were gonna be making a turn on our own. Alright, we're going left 220. Right over some neighborhoods there. And the runway, you can see it is right in front of us. You can see that runway here, so let's dial that speed back. Speed is dialing back. And let's go ahead and get that frequency in there for the tower, which is 13455. Because he is going to switch us over to the tower. There's 13455.
For 980 Alpha November, descend to pilot's discretion, maintain 17,000. Colorado Springs.
All right.
208 enter.
All right, so
0 Kilo Tango Flagstaff Airport, just slightly left here, 12 o'clock, 7 miles.
we got it in sight, sir.
0 Kilo Tango, clear visual approach from 821.
Clear visual approach 21, number 35, Circle Tango. All right, folks, so let's go ahead and go with yaw damper off and autopilot off. And
Landing gear.
go ahead and drop that gear, of course. And we're going one stage flaps down.
350 Kilo Tango, connect Flagstaff Tower 134.55.
Flagstaff Tower 34.55. We'll see you at number 350 Kilo Tango. All right. And let's go for the music off course. Flagstaff Tower, number 350 Kilo Tango, visual 21.
The 350 Kilo Tango, Flagstaff Tower, good evening. Wind is calm, runway 21, clear to land.
Runway 21, cleared to land, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we got our landing flaps down. And let's verify gear is down, which it is, 3 green. And we are bleeding that speed, of course. Alright, trying to get my view set up. Alright, coming back on the power slightly. We can be right at about 90 on this approach. Just trimming the aircraft up. All right, we have 2 white, 2 red, which is what we want. All right, we can't address that right now. We're close enough to Phoenix, so it's giving us that notification that the scenery package for Phoenix may not be, there's missing some, probably, let's see, we don't want to land here on this. Let's just float it a little bit. All right. Definitely not the best landing. Getting distracted here. we'll go ahead and take the next one. Let's get rid of that that message there. All right, let's make us a nice little turn here. And yeah, I got distracted by that mess. Boy, I tell you, today has just been a day. All right, but no worries. We made it down nonetheless with an acceptable landing. Alpha 6 Alpha. Let's clean up the aircraft. All right, there we go. Flagstaff Tower, November 350 Kilo Tango and Alpha 6, clear runway 21.
0 Kilo Tango, roger. Ramp via Alpha, remain this frequency.
Ramp via Alpha this frequency, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so Grease to me, they all can't be low FPM, but nice, yo. Thank you, Chief Sim. Pilot, appreciate that. Again, it was a little bit of a sloppy landing. Today has just been a very off-kilter day. Let's get this back down to our actual taxi, and let's go ahead and taxi into the ramp. Flaps, if you notice here, are all cleaned up, and we'll just go ahead and taxi straight ahead. Alright, just coming over here by these hangars. Alright, parking brake is set, most indubitably. So now we can turn that generator off, turn that taxi light off. Let's get the strobe off, we'll leave the nav on. Let's get that boost pump all the way off. And let's bring this back into the low idle. Would you know, as soon as we got here, guess what's working, guys? My track IR. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Track IR finally decided to work again, so now I got to get my views switched over, and we can shut this all the way off. But isn't that funny? That's how life works. Alright, she's coming all the way down. Let's also be sure to get that transponder off. Transponder is already on standby. I'm just tripping that the track IR finally decided to work. Let's disconnect from Pilotedge and let's go ahead and watch our replay here.
Disconnected.
So we are disconnected, and now let's most certainly come back in here and see exactly how we did. No need for many theatrics. We could just come right in here to the replay and figure out how we did before we move it on over to American Truck Simulator. Again, I'm not, it was a horrible, I nosed up. I was coming in right here way too low. I got distracted by a message that we had. And, wow, you can't even see what's going on here. Let's come this way. So here's where we kind of come down, but this is soft runway. You don't want to land there, so we kind of threw in some more power. And then we get her down over here. See, we kind of come up, and then we come back down. So there's the touchdown. Let's replay that again. Tower is not the best view. So we kind of floated it over the runway, then we went back up in the air, then we started going back down. And there's where we touched down. So still not that bad of a touchdown, but could have been way better. Just a completely distracted flight today, folks. But then again, that's okay. This will show what happened here. We go up and then go kind of down. We had a message over here and threw us off for the day, folks. What is up with that? That's all right, though. You got to take the good with the bad, the easy days with the tough days. All right. So we are going to end this replay now, and it is time for some American Truck Simulator. So I will be seeing you guys here shortly. I'm going to get that set up, and let's get on to a trucking mission from our Flagstaff garage. Here we are. Thank you, honey, for the claps. Thank you, Chief Sim. Thanks, everybody, checking in. And we are jumping over to American Truck Simulator now to complete the X-Plane 11 meets American Truck Simulator legs today. So we'll see you guys in a minute.